you're saying that when you said somebody's got to be able to lock onto it, does that mean that they've got to basically change their paradigm or their mindset that everything's scarce and hard to get, to one that says, look, it's all available, it's just up to me to go out there and get it?
Yeah, and all you got to do is figure out what the rules are, figure out how it works. I think that you can have as much in life as you want if you are prepared to create enough value in life for others so that then you can have your share as well. I'm not a fan of, you just deserve it, if ever there's an expression that bothers me, it's that one, you deserve it. Of course everyone deserves it, but that doesn't mean everyone gets it. But what I see is those who are willing to go out and create massive value for other people, they get to benefit. It's kind of, you'd look at that. I don't see any examples where that has not happened. So, creating wealth is not about me. It's about how do I help you? How do I help everybody else? How do I help anybody that I come in contact with? Call that person a customer if you like. But, if my customers don't feel like they're winning, why would they bother coming back? So what I have to do is go out and figure out how to give them more value than they paid for in terms of dollars, and then they'll give me a few dollars. And, it's kind of pretty simple, really.
So you're saying this applies across the board, even if you're not in the service industry?
Yeah. When the exception is where there's a zillion of you. Like if you're an architect in a firm of 300 architects, well, you're a bit of a commodity, really. But if you get out of that, and what I mean by you're a bit of a commodity is you can say, I want to get paid more, and they'll say, yeah, see you later, go down the street, find another job somewhere, and we'll get another architect. And, that's pretty much how it is. So if you're prepared to get out of that place and set yourself up and say, I'm an architect, but I only design houses for couples without children, or I only design buildings that have dentistry practices in them, then what you'll find is that that's a very narrow niche. There's plenty of money in that because if you get good at it, you get highly skilled, people want to go to the best, are prepared to pay for the best, and, that's the story of the world, I reckon. You could write the history of the world in terms of niching or specialising.
So with niching, some people in this present economic time will be thinking, this goes against the grain of what they're thinking, that you have to lower your prices because everyone says money's tight at the moment. You're saying quite the opposite.
Yeah, in fact, money's not tight, mate. Like I said, they're printing as much of it as they need, so that's not an issue. The interesting thing is, when I got cancer in 2003 and they said I had to have an operation, I thought, okay, so I'll go and find a surgeon, and I've got a surgeon one surgeon quotes $25,000 and the other quotes $35,000, and I say to the guy who's $35,000, why are you $35,000? He says, because I'm better, I practice longer, I'm more highly skilled. I didn't even go back to the one who was $25,000. Now, I could have, if I wanted to, save myself $10,000, but what do you reckon? Like that, you'd have to have rocks in your head to do that. Now, did I have the $35,000? No. So I had to go out and earn it. And I think maybe that was a really good thing. And maybe that surgeon having a high price was part of the recipe for me having to have a breakthrough financially, because all of a sudden I needed to make the money because, there wasn't anybody going to sponsor me for it. So, I had to get a little bit sharper with what I was doing. Interesting, hey?
Yeah, you mean suddenly there was this need. You had a good why I need to.
Yeah, and anybody with kids who will understand, if your child gets sick and they say you've got to fly this child to another country to have a specialised operation, short of robbing a bank, you're going to get pretty creative. And in fact, I've met someone who did rob a bank, so, I'm not saying that's a good way to go, but, they weren't going to do it the week before. So when you've got a big enough why, when you've got a big enough reason, and, it leads to an interesting concept. I think that in Western culture, mostly we're too comfortable. And certainly in places like Australia, you know, we whinge and carry on about migrants coming here and taking our jobs, but that's because they're willing to work for less, to work hard to, you know, to get ahead, to get a start, whereas, you know, we're comfortable, so we won't bother with that.
Okay, we've got a question in the chat room where you talked about abundance, you know, when you said, as long as you know the game and the rules of the game. They're very interested to know what that is because maybe they need to hear how to break in.
Yeah, well, I think I just pointed it out, and that is